as Councilor Gloria. Subscribe, like, view. By the way, you can invite your friends to start subscribing on this channel, especially those who are in year one and even some other who are interested to learn the law. You can tell them they subscribe. The channel is called the Messiah Legal Law Hub. So feel free to pass there and subscribe and learn. Today I want to discuss criminal law. When we talk about criminal law as a constituents, this is criminal law first semester for the year ones. By the way, the definition of criminal law, you might understand it as criminal law is a branch of law which deals with punishing the what? The offender, or which prescribes the punishments for what? For offenders. Leaving that aside, if you look at our constitution, under Article 250, it provides for us what we call legal proceedings. What do we mean by the legal proceedings? The legal proceedings, we mean how matters are handled in court, how matters are proceeded in court. For example, Uganda versus Gloria. Those how criminal matters proceed in court in terms of the legal proceedings. Leaving that aside, I want us to understand we have what we call categories of a crime. We have what we call the misdemeanors. Misdemeanors, we mean these are minor offenses which don't have a harsh punishment or a bigger punishment. When we talk about felony as another category of a crime, we mean felony, these are capital offenses. For example, murder, rape, aggravated, housebreaking and burglary, and so on. So those are the categories of a crime. I said we have the what? The felony and the misdemeanors. You're going to be seeing these words used in the what? In the Penal Code Act. Now they're using them, the felony and the misdemeanor. I would also talk about the what? The punishments, or what we would call the rules governing what criminal law uses during the punishments of the what? The parties which have committed offenses. We shall talk about punishment itself. It can be a punishment which is given to a party who has committed an offense to act as an example to the rest. So we shall talk about rehabilitation. It can be given as a punishment to someone who has committed an offense. Leaving that aside, I want to emphasize on the purposes, or what I would say the theories under criminal law. The theories under criminal law, we have what we call deterrence. Deterrence is one of the theories under criminal law. When we talk about deterrence theory, we mean this theory, it prevents the parties to commit further offenses. For example, if you have been in a fridge, there is a person who has been stealing every day and every day. That person and one day is caught. That person is sentenced or is taken to the custody and maybe is taken to prison. At the end of the day, if there are other people who are also planning to go and do the same offense, it will prevent them to go and act and do the same offense, because the person who has been stealing all that time has been caught and has been taken to prison or sentenced. So deterrence theory, it prevents other people to commit the same offenses. That is the main issue of that theory. We shall talk about rehabilitation theory. When we talk about rehabilitation theory, we mean the affirmative theory. For example, we have the minors, where they've committed offenses. Leaving the minors alone, even these adult people can commit offenses. When someone is sentenced or when someone is taken to the rehabilitation home, these people are kept for a certain period. When they see that person is transforming and is changing, at the end of that day, they realize that the person has reformed, the person can be released from the rehabilitation home. So it makes it a what? Rehabilitation. It can mix it as a what? A theory under criminal law. Let us talk about retributive theory. Retributive theory, this brings satisfaction. For example, if the party have made a loss of their beloved one and that person has been killed, the law comes in and that person who has committed an offense can be punished according to the offense the person has committed. And the family which have lost their beloved, they can be compensated by punishing that person, and the people become more satisfied on their hearts, and it makes it retributive theory. We shall talk about vindication. Vindication is also among the purposes of criminal law. When you talk about vindication, look at Article 28, Clause 3. Remember, under Article 28 Clause 3, it tells us that no person shall be criminally liable unless the person pleads guilty or proved guilty. So when you talk about vindication, the law plays that role to declare who is the innocent party and who is the wrongful party. So at the end of the day, criminal law has played a great job in our country. So subscribe, like, and share to your friends to like and also subscribe on my channel, the Messiah Legal Law Hub. See you next time for other questions.